So I had been suffering for about a year. I'm talking like workouts started sucking. My sleep was pretty horrific. I was definitely having mood swings. My mouth was really dry. It was not fun. And throughout this time, I started taking some natural remedies, right? Specifically sage, evening primrose oil. I was upping my beans, my lentils. Oh, and I was even, let me show you this. I keep these in the freezer for a reason. Ground flax seeds. These are super valuable. I'm talking about friggin' hormones, right? Female hormones. I was initially against hormone replacement therapy because there's a lot of misinformation out there. It was just simply not accurate, which really pisses me off because it caused me and I know plenty of other women to suffer. I promised you guys I'd give you an update on my journey and like what's going on, what happened, am I feeling any different? First week, noticed a huge improvement. Now the biggest reason for me, it wasn't like aside from the friggin' hot flashes during the day, which honestly, they weren't that bad. I was able to manage with things like ground flax seeds and just increasing legumes. But the thing that really got me, it was the night sweats. I was sweating like I was standing in front of a furnace like the whole night, and it's like 90 degrees in the house. It was pretty bad. So I started doing my own research and I found an OBGYN who actually specialized in bioidentical hormones. I'm not saying that's the way to go for someone. This is very much a personal choice, but I highly recommend having that conversation with your OBGYN. Bioidentical basically means they're identical to the hormones that your body produces. I really try to focus on like a whole food approach. I do everything as natural as possible. I make my own face cream. I've been doing that for years. And so my goal was to reduce as much amount of toxins as possible. Even with all of that, even being as diligent, I wasn't exercising too much. I was resting plenty in between sessions. I wasn't overdoing my cardio. I was literally doing all the right things. So I will show you what I'm on. I am on a transdermal estradiol patch. I put it on twice a week. I actually put it on like right here. Some people like to put it on like right here. I am taking 200 milligrams of micronized progesterone. I think there's this misconception that you can be on hormone replacement therapy and you can basically just continue with your lifestyle of eating like cheeseburgers and French fries and tacos, and not that there's anything wrong with those on occasion, but I want you to think about like the bigger picture here. If the type of foods that you eat can naturally influence your hormones, it would be logical to think that they can help with the process even when you're on hormone replacement therapy. Diet and HRT go hand in hand. How am I feeling, right? First week that I started, I'm like 4.5 months in right now, right? First week, 0 hot flashes, 0 night sweats. Just with the first week. And going into almost, I would say, close to 5 months now, I feel even better. Now, I will tell you a couple experiences that I've had with the progesterone in particular, but my joints feel better. My mouth is not dry anymore. I have the energy to push through my workouts. I sleep amazing every single night consistently. I know that is not everybody's story. I know this is a lot of veggies in here. I like a lot of veggies with my tuna. Everybody is going to have a different experience, right? And so that's why I highly recommend having this conversation with a doctor that is going to listen to you, that is not going to just look at like your levels and dismiss you. And I know some people out there are going to say, well, I've managed my symptoms naturally. I am using like yams and all that stuff, and it's just all good. And and the thing with that is that we can absorb nutrients differently. That can affect your hormone levels. It can affect, obviously, the outcome of how you're able to combat perimenopause and menopause symptoms. And that's why I'm sharing my story, because you could be doing all the right things, but you still are dealing with those symptoms. Now, I mentioned something about the progesterone experience, right? So the reason why the doctor is going to tell you, hey, you need to take your progesterone at night is because it's going to make you freaking drowsy, but it's going to make you sleep like a baby. Now, it affects everybody differently. I can be very sensitive to it if I take it with a fat. If you take your progesterone around the same time, and this is, like I said, this can affect everyone different. It feels like you took like NyQuil or something times like 2 or 3. Progesterone is absorbed faster in the body when you take it with the fat. So if I have a meal and it happens to have like cheese or, you know, butter or olive oil or something with fat, then that increases the absorption rate and it literally just like knocks me out like I'm a friggin' baby. But like I said, that's not everyone's experience. So I just want to be very clear here. I'm not promoting or telling anyone to have hormone replacement therapy. All I'm saying is that have the conversation with your doctor. Talk to someone that is not going to dismiss you and that is willing to hear you and look at your symptoms. And of course, if you guys have any questions or you want to know more about my journey, let me know in the comments below. I have no problem. I'm super transparent. I like sharing just because I feel like it could possibly help another woman who's struggling. So yes, your diet, what you eat can absolutely help your journey with HRT. They both go hand in hand. One does not replace the other. So that's it. I hope some of this information helps someone out.